Hi, my name's Eric Little, and this is the jokes or speeches or whatever for PO6 294 POS. I'm sorry, 294. Actually, I'm having to video this on a school bus. That's one of my jobs, and so sorry for the background. Just have to do it when I have time to do it. So, I'm glad to be able to do it this way, to have a couple of jokes to tell. I do a lot of public speaking. I'm a youth director, and so I speak to anywhere from 25 students to 500, 600 students sometimes. And so we always tell jokes. And kind of the thing I do is I always like to open up and tell a long joke, one that kind of just strings them in and makes them really kind of hone into what I'm saying before I deliver the punchline. So here you go. The first one I like to tell is a joke about Nate the snake. Nate the snake guarded the lever that if it was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. Obviously, Nate had to be very good at his job, because if he wasn't and the lever was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. So it got to where, at first a lot of people didn't know about Nate. They didn't know that Nate had this job. And so as people started to learn about it, dads would bring their sons out to the river and would show them, Nate guarding the lever that if it was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. And they would tell their sons, like, someday I want you to grow up and be like Nate. I want you to be important like Nate. Moms would bring their daughters and would say, here's Nate. He guards the lever that if it was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. And he's obviously a very important person with a very important job. So someday I want you to grow up and marry a man like Nate. The magazines would come out, write stories about him. Newspapers would come out and write stories about him. Well, one day they wanted to make it a lot easier for people to see him and see how good he was at his job, and just, pay attention to what he was doing, because he technically guarded the whole world, because if the lever was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. So they built a highway that went by Nate. So if I could paint this visual for you, there was this highway that went by, and Nate the snake was on one side of it with the lever that if it was thrown would destroy the whole world, and then a mountain. And on the other side of Nate was a river. Well, one day Nate's sitting there guarding the lever, and he looks out across the river and he sees a pretty lady snake. And he said, oh man, I'd like to go talk to her. So he thought about slithering over there, but he said, oh, if I do though, I'm going to leave the lever, and if it's thrown, it would destroy the whole world. And he battled back and forth in his mind about this, and finally he just decided, it's over. I'm going to slither over there real fast. I'll be gone just a second. Nobody's out here. Well, he starts slithering out into the middle of the road, and about that time, sure enough, here comes a truck over the hill. The trucker sees the snake immediately and knows that's Nate. He's the one that guards the lever that if it was thrown, it would destroy the whole world. And so he has to make this quick decision. If I swerve to the right, I'm going to hit the lever, and it's going to throw the lever and destroy the world. If I swerve to the left, I'm going to go off into a river, and I'm going to die. So he finally just makes this split-second decision. He closes his eyes, and he runs over and kills Nate. The moral of that story is, it's always better Nate than lever. Yes, I know, horrible joke. The next one is much like that one. So I will have to say that sometimes I actually have students that start to believe this next joke, which really reduces my faith in the next generation, which I'm halfway joking about. But so there's a little girl that was born with just a head, no body. She was this medical anomaly because she was able to survive with just a head. So her parents, when they brought her home from the hospital, they put a pillow up on the windowsill, and they set her head on there so that she could watch all the kids play in the yard. So the little girl just was like that for a long time. She would watch kids play back and forth in the front yard, and then she began to just pray, oh, someday I just want to be able to have like a neck and shoulders that I could sit up taller and watch the kids play. And so she woke up one morning and she had a neck and shoulders, and she was able to sit up there and turn her head back and forth and watch them run and play. And well, of course, she decided, that's good, but I wish I had more. I wish I had, like, just from the waist up, where I had arms and shoulders, and I could throw the ball and play catch. And She woke up the next morning and she had arms, and they opened the windows, and she was able to throw the ball with her friends, and she was so happy. And then finally one day she said, Lord, if I could just have legs, if I could have legs where I could run and play, then everything would be better. So she woke up the next morning. Sure enough, she had legs. Her parents got her dressed. She took off running out the front door. She went to run across the street and play with her friends, and she got run over by a truck and died. The moral of the story is, always quit while you're ahead. I know those are horrible, but those are my two jokes, and I'll see you on the next speech.